Hello and welcome to Season 4 of Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And for if you're new here, we are a Merry-Whimsical board game podcast where we dive into games with curious minds and a jester's grin. So today we will be discussing some tales from the table to share, and these games are Agricola and Res Arcana. But first, Dave, have you come prepared with a query for the court, which, by the way, is just a listener question?
Fancy term. So yes, we do have a query for the court.
Yes.
From listener Steven.
Okay.
Who so graciously wrote us in and asked, what's the right size for a board game collection? And I'm curious, your answer on this is somebody who's pretty new to the hobby. And my experience, having collected many games in my lifetime, what do you think? What is the ideal size for a board game collection?
The ideal size for a board game collection? Okay, so, well, thank you, Steven, for writing in for one. And
yeah,
then
thank you.
Two, the ideal size, if we think about our board game and how we had one shelf, and now it kind of has like a castle look going on because it has two other shelves that are taller than it, so it has a tower-esque feel. But although we now have more shelf and it's all full of games, when I look at it, I don't particularly think, oh, I need more. Yeah. It's more so I want to look at a shelf and debate with you what game we want to play, as opposed to looking at a shelf and we go, oh, half these games are games that we wouldn't debate about, and it's just kind of like a here or there. Maybe we save them for more lighthearted family nights or something like that. Yeah. So when I personally look at a shelf, I look at what I want to play with you all the time, you know, because we play as two players, so my opponent's usually you.
Sometimes Lupin.
Yeah, sometimes Lupin, depending on how the night goes. But when I look at a board game shelf, I think, what games do I want to play with Dave? And that leads me to, I would be happy with someday, after we've played hundreds of games, our top 10. I think that there's 10 Julevid games out there.
Julevid games.
Julevid, Julie, David, Julevid games out there that are our games.
Yeah, that's a good. It's funny you mentioned the number 10 because that came to mind too. And I think as somebody who's been in the hobby for a while now, I've done my fair share of board game collecting. And I think it's important to distinguish two concepts. There's board game collecting. People who like to collect things, so like coin collectors or people who collect stamps or rocks or stuffed animals.
What? Oh my god! Why are you dragging?
The people who like to collect things.
You know what? No, the cat's out of the bag now. We have to talk about my stuffed animal.
I think they're awesome. But I think that collecting board games is a hobby within itself. And I've seen pictures online of people with these massive collections with shelves upon shelves upon shelves of games. And I think there is an aspect of the hobby where we like to look at a large shelf and see a lot of games on that shelf. Kind of like, I think of like, I want to have a big library someday of a whole room with like all these books on the shelf. Am I going to read all of those books? Maybe not, but just being able to stand in awe and wonder of like a shelf full of something that you love. All that to say, I think that that is a little bit different of a mindset of what games, how many games do I feel like I realistically need to have a decent sized collection that I feel comfortable with, that I enjoy. Because by nature, I'm kind of a minimalist. I don't like to collect a lot of things. Board games is the one exception to that, where I have more board games than anything, like clothes in my closet.
That's true.
People who know me know I have like, I wear plain shirts, I wear jeans, I wear hoodies.
No, you have that viticulture shirt.
Yeah. But my clothing wardrobe is not very big. I don't have many things. I could, if you and I wanted to up and move somewhere, I would have like one box of stuff and then like all of my games. That's just my mindset.
Your games had many totes.
They do. Many, many boxes of games. But having all of those games on my shelf and any collection beyond what we have, I don't know how many games are on our shelf out there, but to me, having too many games takes up a lot of mental space because it's like all of these to-do items. Like, I really want to play dozens of games that are on our shelf right now that you and I haven't played, or I've played and you haven't played yet. It's always something lingering in my head of something that I feel like I need to do. Whereas if you have like 10 games that you love, and no matter what, we're going to get those out and play them, I think that's enough. Or maybe like 50 games would be like one game per week of the year. But when you see people with like 500 games, it's like, when are you going to play all of those games? That's where it gets into the collecting part, which is I see as different. So I think it depends on your mindset. Do you want to just collect games for the sake of it, or do you actually want to play them? B, how often do you play games? And C, who do you play games with? So I think for you and I, 10 is the sweet spot. One day when we've played thousands of games, we'll parse it down to 10 of our absolute favorites. And I'm fine playing a game once and just trading it away just for the sake of, we experienced this and we're cool with it, we're ready to move on. But the games that we keep and that we have on our shelf, I want them to be our absolute favorite games. There's always a debate. True. So
yeah, the collection thing I get because I collect Pokemon cards. So I have a binder of Pokemon cards, even if there's some cards that, it's just a Weedle.
Well, it's funny.
You know what a Weedle is, but...
I definitely don't. But it's funny you mentioned Pokemon cards because we've talked about Pokemon collecting and stuff. And I'm more fascinated, like, oh, how do you actually play Pokemon? And you're like, well, what do you mean? Nobody plays Pokemon. You just collect the cards. I'm like, well, what's the point in having the cards if you don't play them? And that's where I don't necessarily always understand the collecting mindset because I'm not a collector myself, so...
Well, that's okay. Well, for Pokemon cards, I have some pretty expensive cards. Like, if you have some old cards, so it's kind of that, too. People have it from their childhood, and then they grow up, and they find out that these cards are valuable, and it's just it's kind of like, I don't know, a lottery in a way. You're like, ooh.
Oh, like when you open up the pack of cards, like, what's going to be in there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an okay addiction, It doesn't hurt me.
You can be spending your money on worse things, always.
Right. It could hurt my feelings that I don't get anything good, but it doesn't hurt me physically.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you, Stephen, for writing that in.
Yes,
and if you have a question that you'd like to hear us answer on Query for the Court, you can email us at thedicejesters@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at dicejesters. You can just send us a message there, whatever works for you.
And all questions are welcomed, even if you want to hear about Lupin. I love to talk about Lupin. If you want to hear about Philip, I'm kind of bitter right now. I'm on my dislike of birds again, so... People are going to be like, tell us about Philip.
Saga. I haven't heard much about Philip, at least by the way. Is Philip still around?
One of our friends from Instagram, I didn't ask if I could say their name, so we'll keep them anonymous, but they had sent me a photo of me being married to Philip.
Oh, is that the one you showed me?
Yeah, where I'm in a jester outfit, and then there's Philip, and Philip has the veil on, and I'm just like, wait, is Philip the wife?
Yeah. I love that somebody took the time to create that image. Like,
it makes me so happy.
Your whole bird aversion is becoming a whole thing, and I love it. I'm here for it.
No, I still have a bird aversion. Sorry, I just thought about when we went to the zoo with some people, and we were at the flamingos, and I was just like, oh.
But then you knew so many facts about them, too.
Well, because you can't have an aversion if you don't know facts about them. Just like you can't be scared of spiders if you don't really know about spiders. Like, once you know about spiders, you aren't as scared of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a good mindset.
But yeah, let's get into games as opposed to animals. I feel like we should have a whole separate podcast about animals.
We may be starting something here, but yes, let's get into this week's Tales from the Table. This week, we had one resummoning from the Jester's Shelf of Cardboard Curiosities, which was...
Agricola!
Yeah, so this was a game we played in, was it season 2?
Yeah, season 2 was a hit.
Fire.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite seasons of games.
We loved playing Agricola before, and this is one that had been on my mind because I feel like we keep talking about it, like the whole feeding your people thing, your starvation farm, as he called it, like your family's gonna starve.
Yeah, I'm just like, take the beggar token.
That was the first time I really saw you get insanely competitive when you played a game, to the point that you were like throwing down some serious shade. My way. As the kids would call it.
As the kids would call it? What? That's our generation. That's millennials.
But it's been a little while since we've played it. So, was there anything that stood out to you playing? We played it a few times this time around. I think, did I win any of those 3 rounds? I think I might have.
I think you won 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Something did stand out to me. So, I remember when we had first played it, I always went for the wood, right? go for the wood, good for the wood, to the point where I starved your family from taking all the wood. Like, you couldn't do anything.
You always get the wood. I don't understand how you do it.
I'm a magician. I'm a tricky little jester. There you go. So...
Trixie jester?
Yeah, Trixie. But this time around, I felt like the wood wasn't as important as once thought.
There's ways around it.
There is ways around it. So I got the wood to begin with because naturally I was just all like, that's my opening move, my signature, whatever. Gotta get the wood, so I'll get the wood. So I got it, and then after looking around, looking at the different moves and whatnot, I was just like, oh, the clay is kind of like really important. You know, because you need the clay to buy the oven, you need the oven to cook the meat, you need the meat for the food to then eat. And eating is the most important part of the game. So, like, I get winning and everything revolves around points and building your farm. But you gotta feed your people. And that's...
Feed your peeps.
the most important part. So... the first time we played it, I'm pretty sure I was just like, oh, let me build my little farm, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. And then this time I was like, wait. The core of this game is feeding your people so that you can grow your people. So if you have enough people fed, you have more people to then do things. Because towards the end, the wood starts piling up because people are doing everything in the beginning. So if you find a way to cook, and get a bunch of food, then... towards the end, you can really build up your family and then take a lot of moves and then get that farm. The only downside to doing that, though, is it doesn't give your animals enough time to breed. And maybe you won't get all the animals because the other person got it. So, the way I overcame that was I found a balanced way of doing it where I always had like at least 2 of the animals. And then I looked at the score, and I would always hit the max, and then just kind of send to the fire the food for the surplus.
Yes.
And because you never needed more on your farm than what the points were. There was no point in that. So why max out certain things when it's not necessary? Instead, maximize strategy, form, points.
You should be a motivational speaker.
You think?
There is some comfort in this game. I think if you're somebody who really likes structure and something to point you in the right direction, because this game, it's not difficult to see what it is that you need to do. Like, A, you need to feed your people, feed your family, find a way to do that. But then B, it lays everything out on the board on the left-hand side that shows you the scoring for each of the categories. And just by looking at it, you can see some negative points if you don't get anything in that category. Mm-hmm. So, and like you said, if you max out a category like cows or pigs, whatever you get on in the game.
The horses?
Yeah, I thought they were horses for the longest time. Like cooking your horses for your family.
I remember we called them horses, like way in the beginning during season 2.
Yeah,
we said they were horses.
That's funny.
And then we're like, no, they're cattle.
But it doesn't make sense to continuously collect sheep or collect whatever because you can only get a certain number of points. So the game forces you to diversify.
Yes.
And it's pretty straightforward what you need to do. You're trying to build a farm, you're trying to get a little bit of everything, and you're trying to feed your people. But within that, it's this whole trying to maximize your turns, like turn efficiency.
Yeah. And
utilizing those minor improvement cards and the occupation cards, which are they can be a significant part of the game if you play them right. They can give you those ongoing bonuses and stuff. But for me, I just have, after we play so many different games, we come back to this one. It just has a very comfortable, familiar feel to it that I think is there's a couple finicky things in this. I think Le Havre would be an easier game to teach with in terms of like rules set out of the Uwe Rosenberg games that we've played. But Agricola is just so distilled down to just simple worker placement, gathering resources, using those to build things, and then feeding your people, which I've like really I used to not like the feeding your people thing, but I've come to appreciate it. I think through Le Havre as well, because I talked about last time with that game, it gives you this requirement of something that you have to meet. And the punishment is really severe in this game. I think it's -3 points per food 3. That you can't. It happened to me once. Never again. But you want to do these things, but it forces you to focus on what you actually need. There's like this foundational need of feeding your people. And then once you meet that, you find a way to do that without thinking about it. Now you can move on to upgrading your house to the clay or the stone, growing your family, building out your farm. Mm-hmm. But it kind of gives you that foundational need that I think is really, you want to do A, but it forces you to do B first and think realistically on what you can do versus what you want to do. So I've come to really appreciate the feeding your people mechanism. And games that don't have it, I'm like, oh, this game is a little bit too easy because there's no cost. There's no upkeep or anything that you have to...
I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm missing something.
But I still at the same time don't think that this game is overly difficult. And I've heard a lot of people say that it's too restrictive or it's too challenging, it's too punishing. But I think going into it knowing what you have to do, if you're not doing something to get food and then you're having to get those begging tokens, like you've done something seriously wrong. Like you need to focus on that first. But I've never found this game to be overly restrictive to the point where I was caught off guard. Like, oh, I had no idea that I needed to do this. And now I'm like -7 points in this round.
Yeah, I feel like Year of the Dragon was restrictive. I know it's like throwing that out there.
That is a very restrictive game.
For Agricola, this time around, I had appreciated how well balanced it is. Now we're like 20 plays in? Is that what it is?
Well, I was going to bring that up. We're 24. We've played this 24 times.
Yeah.
And we're 50-50. We've both won 12 times.
Okay, well, regardless, we're 20-some plays in, and I noticed that I tried different strategies. I tried the cards. I tried A, B, and C, what have you. But at the end... this is a pretty balanced game. Even when you have the cards, even when you have like a farm going, any of that, you need to do a little of everything. It forces you to do a little of everything or you lose points. And I think that's what I really like about it. That you can't just focus on exploring space or building technology, but you have to focus on the whole thing.
Yeah, and everything you do serves a purpose too. You don't ever feel like anything's wasted.
Yeah.
And I really like we tried this time with the drafting variant where you start with 7 occupation cards, 7 minor improvement cards. It's a whole game before the game, but you draft those cards back and forth.
Yeah.
And so that way I feel like it gives you some kind of control over building a hand that works together as some strategy. If you don't do that, there might be a little bit of luck with the draw of getting cards that don't work well together or whatever. But I feel like adding that in is a good addition to the game.
Well, speaking of the gameplay in general, like the games that we've played for this, so like the 24 rounds that we've played of it, I do remember, and I'm not 100% sure on what I specifically said, but I do remember feeding my people was kind of hard because I got distracted in the beginning and just wanted to have little sheeps. Like, I was like, I want to build a farm, like in the Philippines.
You were distracted by the cuteness.
Yes, I was distracted by all the cuteness. I was like, I want it to resemble my rice fields. Obviously, it's not rice fields, it's wheat, but whatever. So then I did poorly in the games. And then once I got rid of that distraction in my mind, I did better. So this time around, returning to the game and playing it a few more times to re-dissect it, my view has changed completely from the first time. Because the first time I did think, oh, this is a restrictive game because you have to feed your people. But now I'm just like, oh, well, you can get an oven going,
There's
cozy up next to the fire.
Yeah.
And then you can always be set for food. And then you don't have to worry about it. You can always do other things.
Yeah, it's all about finding a way to not worry about food.
Yeah.
And then you can do the really cool stuff. But that was awesome. I really enjoyed going back to that. And in fact, I didn't realize this, but it's been about a year since we played Agricola for the first time.
Aww.
So the question is, are we promoting this to the shelf of Jester Cheer?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. the answer is indefinitely yes.
A resounding yes. Yeah, this is still a game that we love, want to keep. And also, Le Havre is right up there, too, in about a year. So, didn't realize that last week when we spoke about it. But, are we promoting Le Havre to the shelf of Jester Cheer as well?
Yeah.
I
like Le Havre, even when you steal my fish.
That, you're still going to remember that.
I don't forget.
You really came after me. So that was awesome.
Yeah, wasn't that the round that you found out that I just mind my business? Until somebody acts upon my business.
And then you come back to wreak havoc, unlike the world has ever seen. Well, thank you for playing that. And we have
Yes.
one newcomer from the Jester's Court, which I presented to you last week, and we had a chance to play a few times, which is Res Arcana.
I know, you presented it to me and it made me laugh. I wasn't expecting you to say such things.
So, Res Arcana is a game by Tom Lehman, and is kind of like this resource conversion, alchemy-themed game where you have a hand of 8 cards, and the goal is to be... Well, the game ends when somebody reaches 10 points, but on your turn, you can do one action, and it keeps going back and forth until everybody's passed for the round, but... You can play a card from your hand into your tableau. You can activate one of the cards. You can purchase... There's these like permanent tiles that you can purchase that also act like cards as well. And really the cards let you convert one thing to another. They let you stack resources on a card that can be worth points. And so it's kind of like along the lines of if you've played Century, Golem Edition, or Spice Road. Mm-hmm. Not similar games, but similar in the sense of resource conversion, ultimately trying to build towards something. And that's a very high level overview of the game. But I went into it really excited because we played Race for the Galaxy, and that's one of my favorite games. And Tom Lehman is known for making games that have kind of a minimalist feel. Like Race for the Galaxy is just a deck of cards, but it's very strategically deep. In Res Arcana, I had heard that this game was kind of like his masterpiece of card game design. So I went into it with insanely high expectations. Maybe that was my downfall, but getting a little bit into our thoughts of the game, what was your impression after 3 plays of Res Arcana?
I like how you're like, this was his baby game, like his trophy game, and now I'm going to ask you to rate it.
Well, I don't know if he believes this is his masterpiece. I've just heard people that really, this is a pretty popular game.
Okay.
It latched on pretty quick, and I guess, I mean, I can give my thoughts.
Well, I like the theme of it.
Yeah, the theme is awesome.
I think the theme is really nice.
You love the bird lady playing...
No, you just gave me the bird lady. Doesn't mean I love it because I played as it. I liked the... I can't remember, the sorcerer, the wizard? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But when you explained it, it sounded slightly more complicated than what it was. You know, in the explanation, I was slightly confused. But after playing it, I remember telling you that it reminded me of Century, and you're like, yeah, you liked Century initially. So then I bought this, thinking that you would also like this.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel so bad because people put so much time in it, and like someday if we release a game, you're like, if you mean when.
When, yeah. Like,
I will feel equally interesting. I feel bad saying stuff because people take time to make things, but the game just wasn't for me due to it didn't feel like I could attack you or get in your way in any way. It was kind of like a solo dolo game.
Yeah, and I think that's where it came down to when we played, was it Cooper Island?
Yes.
That was one, these games are not similar whatsoever, but when we played that game, we realized how important player interaction is to us. And I will say that this game feels pretty like you don't really need to pay attention to what the other person... Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, maybe we didn't reach that level of gameplay, but the only player interaction I saw was there's like these magic tiles that you take at the beginning or end of each round, and then there's certain cards that take those life tokens away from other people unless you have something to block it. But other than that, you and I were pretty much not paying attention to the other person. Mm-hmm. And anytime we play a game like that, we get to the end and it's kind of like, okay. I mean, we were just kind of doing a solo activity together, but we weren't really paying attention. And like, we didn't have that discussion or jabbing at each other, that kind of fun discussion that we enjoy.
Yeah, especially for us, because we do, like, everything together.
Yeah.
So we don't even read books separately. Like, you read books to me, so it feels like we're doing it together. So, I mean, if that has anything to do with it, on why it wasn't particularly our preference, but for it as well, there was one round where we were playing. So, my first initial thoughts, when you had it out on the table, I was like, ooh, fun, it's like a wizard game, magic, ooh. And then I was going to have like little colonies and dragons and whatnot. And then I found out quickly that that's not necessarily true because the cards that you start out with may not have a dragon in it. And then you're like, oh, I don't have a dragon, so what am I supposed to do? So now that makes a card obsolete. So with that, it was, I believe, our third round where it was taking a long time because you need how many points for the round?
10.
10 points for the game end. And neither of us were getting enough points.
I know. Were we just not good at the game?
Yeah, I don't know. We got to the point where we were working together.
Yeah, it became a co-op game.
Yeah,
we were like, how do we work together to finish this game?
So...
But maybe, again, maybe I just wasn't good at the game and it just wasn't something... I found that there are certain games that really click well with my thought process, and this was a game I just couldn't quite wrap my head around the right way to make things work together. But an aspect about the game that I both appreciated but also restricted it in some ways was the fact that both players start with, you just get a deck of 8 cards and that's it for the whole game. You're not buying cards to add to your deck or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you cycle through it maybe a couple of times. But before the game starts, you get a chance to look at your deck of cards so you know what's in there. Like, cool. That's all this game is 8 cards. That's awesome. But then I ended up in a couple of the 3 rounds that we played with cards that didn't really feel like they worked together and required a certain different type of card to work well, and I didn't have that, so you just use it to get the resources instead. And I don't know, there's something about it that felt like the resource conversion part felt a little too convoluted with a lack of some kind of exciting payoff. That is really how I could sum it up. And then the fact that the game seemed to drag on a little bit, like the 10-point requirement was just a little bit too much, where I thought this was going to be like a 15-minute game, like boom, we play real quick, it's over. But it dragged on to maybe like 30, 40,
the last round was like 40-ish minutes, yeah.
Which is, it felt a little bit long for what I'd want a game like this to be. Like Race for the Galaxy, we could play in like 20 minutes.
Sometimes shorter if I want to win.
Yeah. So, the big question is...
Oh, there's a question. Okay, yeah. What's up?
Will this game face the trials of the Jester's Gambit or be cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return?
Why do I have this strong feeling that you added bells to when you said Jester's Gambit?
You know me so well.
What was the second one?
Be cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return.
Why is it that I feel like you're going to add booze to
Boo. No, this is a respectful goodbye.
Yeah. It has a horse and food and everything for it to get to the next town over. Yeah, the second choice that I forgot what you said. But yeah,
cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return.
Yeah.
This is farewell for now, Res Arcana.
What is happening?
I don't even know.
I love it. Okay, yeah. I do say, though, that I don't have a little gesturing thing like you do. I love what you have, but I do say that this is a good family game, especially if you want to get your kids into it. I think it would be a fun game to kind of play with them, teach them through it.
Oh, for sure.
And learn resource conversion, learn how to read cards, learn how cards work together. So, family-esque game, but not like a family game night. Like, family where you can sit down and play a few times throughout whenever. I
would say, like, if you have played Century Spice Road or a Century Golem Edition with your family and you want, like, a next step up, this would be perfect. Like,
it'd be perfect.
Maybe not the first one, but the second one.
Yeah.
But thank you for playing that with me, Julie. I had a good time.
Thank you. Thank you for offering that to the crown. Yeah.
Well, speaking of offering to the crown.
Oh, yes. Look at that. I transitioned without knowing.
I have one offering to the crown. Your Grace. I don't even know how to... I'm bad at this. So, the way this works is if I have a game that I want us to play, I will pitch it to you by reading the backstory, giving you that whole thematic part of it, and then I'll tell you a few things about the game that I think will sway you in the direction. But you also can ask follow-up questions.
I can ask follow-up questions?
I just can't give you the title of the game. But anything else is on the table. I thought I would do this with all these rules, so I can't say this or that. But ultimately, I want to make sure that it's a game that you do want to play. And if it's one that you don't think that we would like, we don't need to waste our time. So I thought this would be a fun way to do it. So
okay, I'm ready.
Here is the backstory for this game that I present to you.
Here we go.
110 AD. The Roman Empire is at its height of glory, ruled by the Emperor Optimus Princeps, which also means best ruler, a title that was bestowed upon the Roman ruler, who shares the same name as this game. I put that in there because I'm not allowed to say the name of the game. So.
Okay.
All borders are secured and people can focus their attention again on the Emperor's internal matters, Rome. Take your chances and boost your power. With proper tactics, you may outmaneuver your opponents and eventually claim victory. So now that I bring you back to reality, here's a few things about the game.
Okay.
So this is a game that has extremely satisfying terms with extreme bonuses.
Okay, you say extreme, and if we play this game and it's not extreme...
This is extreme.
I don't know, man.
So I would call this... I've jokingly referred to this game in the past as Slot Machine the board game, because it has bonuses upon bonuses upon bonuses of, like, points, bonus actions. Like,
this sounds like a Dave.
It is dopamine hit palooza, I guess you could call it. So, very satisfying game. But it also has a mechanism based on one of your favorite childhood games.
What? Like it's Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, it has like a Mancala aspect to it. And it is by the same designer of one of your favorite board games of all time.
By one of my favorite games of all time?
Yeah, think like in your top 3 games of all time.
I don't even know my top 3 games.
Like I'll name a couple of games by that designer. Bruges.
I love Bruges.
And Aquasphere.
Oh, I love Aquasphere.
I love that I picked like 2 of like not his most popular games, but
I like Aquasphere because I get to hit you into the middle, and then I like Bruges because of many reasons.
Wow. Okay, that was a little violent. But... So it's a game by Stefan Feld. And this is my personal favorite of all of his design titles that I've played.
Sure, we can play it, Dave. That's fine.
So, do you deem this one worthy of the Crown's Curiosity or unworthy of the Crown's Curiosity?
Oh no, you're gonna huzzah. Yeah, it's worthy of the Queen's Crown Curiosity.
Long live the Jester Queen! The court is blessed by your curiosity! Well, I am so excited. So this is Trajan by Stefan Feld.
I knew it!
I have been wanting to play this game since the moment I met you. And
what does it even mean? No, the first thing you asked me was, do you watch Ghost Adventures?
Yeah, did you you know who Zach Baggins is?
Well, first you said welcome to the journey.
Welcome to the journey.
Yeah, yes. And then you were like, do you even want me to go over this? We can talk about Ghost.
So I've been holding off on introducing this into our 10x10 challenge for a few reasons. I felt like you needed to play some more games before you could truly appreciate everything that is in this game. And I believe that this is my favorite game of all time, period.
Okay, and but I feel like you said that about Castles of Burgundy.
No, I did. I said I was amazingly good at Castles of Burgundy. I've never thought Castles of Burgundy was better than Trajan. I've always thought Trajan was the better game.
Okay.
And because I've considered it to be... Well, I'll step back for a second. There have been a few games that we've played where we've gone into it and I remember the game being incredible. Like, oh, this is so awesome. I can't wait to play it. And then we play it like 10 times. And I realized this game wasn't as amazing as I remembered it. Like, these things are standing out to me. The fact that we played it so many times.
Yeah.
So I had this nervous part of my brain is apprehensive because I'm afraid of playing it again and realizing it's not as good as I remember. But a piece of me, I was reading through the rules earlier today and I'm like, no, this game is amazing. Like, this is such a good game. And so I'm very excited to show it to you and share that experience with Trajan.
Uh-huh. I'm excited too, but I'm a little reserved because you were like, love Castles of Burgundy, yay! And then we played Castles of Burgundy, yay! And I demolished you. What was it? I got 240?
I don't know it. I have to look to see. Your highest score is 230.
Oh, okay. Okay, well still, that was higher than your high score, right? Yeah.
Maybe. You are very good at Castles of Burgundy. Okay.
Maybe we'll just have to play it again.
You broke my winner. I'm not going to go in this one saying that I'm the best Trajan player of all time. I don't even know my win percentage. I haven't played this game. See, Castles of Burgundy, I played a lot online, so I had those statistics. I've played this game, I think at all player counts. I'm pretty good at the game, but oh man, are there distractions in this one. It's like going through a candy store and like, ooh, this looks cool, that looks cool. I'm gonna, it's that kind of a game. It looks boring. I'm gonna give you that. When you look at it on the table, you're gonna say like, what the heck is this game with It looks very bland, but within this game, there's a lot of excitement. So,
all right.
If you're ready,
I'm ready.
I will go show you how to play Trajan. And we'll come back next week and talk about how our initial plays of it went.
Yeah, and if we played it until we braked it. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, if we do like it, then we will
continue playing
with it in the Jester's Gambit, which is where we will play it until we've felt like we've explored everything, which is usually at least 10 times. Or if we don't enjoy it as much, then we'll quit it early, and then we'll decide, is this a winner to stay in our collection, or are we going to part ways?
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you, as always, for taking the journey with me.
Yes, Dave, and thank you, as always, for taking the journey with me. And thank you so much for listening to us this week. Be sure to join us next week to see if I beat Dave in Trajan, which most of us know I will. I'm kidding. I don't know, we'll find out. So be sure to join us next week. Our format has changed just slightly. It's still the same. We still deep dive games. I give you first impression, middle impression, final impression. But this time around, we are deciding to continue games that we enjoy just because we had felt a little stuck with games that maybe we didn't enjoy as much, just based off of our play style. So that's why we kind of switched it up. So we'll still play it a lot. We'll still try to figure out a strategy and whatnot, and when we find the right game, we'll play it 10 times, and we'll find 10 games that are just right, and play those 10 games at least 10 times. So this season might be longer than other seasons.
And that's okay.
Just come along for the journey. Also, we have a voting pool up right now on our Patreon for what game you would like to have us return to the table. Dave has a fancy term for it. I'm not 100% sure.
The resummoning from the Jester's shelf of cardboard curiosities.
Yes, the resummoning. So if you would like to participate in what game you would like us to resummon. Nobody's voted for Bruges yet. It's kind of depressing. Please go vote for Bruges.
We can just play Bruges. That's cool.
Well, I guess. That's true. But our Patreon is Dice Jesters. There you can find some behind the scenes, Dave's takes on things, some mini vlogs of what we do outside of board games, known as our side quest, some Renaissance photos, and then the occasional appearance of Lupin. We are also on Instagram if you'd like to check Lupin out, under Dice Jesters. Jesters with a J, like a juggler, you know? And there you can find reels, pictures of the games, Dave and I smiling with games, Lupin terrorizing the games, I don't know, trying to attack the games. And if you have any questions for the court to be used as query for the court, feel free to send it to us. Our email is thedicejesters@gmail.com, so it is thedicejesters@gmail.com.
That'd be funny if you grouped those letters in an odd way.
I am dyslexic, so that's why I was doing the little head movement that nobody sees because this is a podcast, and
it was pretty fun.
Thanks. But yeah, so thank you so much, and with an abundance of jubilation, be sure to play board games with the ones you love.